I'm always starting before I'm ready. There's something really exciting about just taking that risk and stepping into the unknown. When you know too much, you can kind of get in your own way. I've definitely had moments of doubt where I've questioned staying on this path. One of the benefits of social media is it's shown people that they can take matters into their own hands. You have a creative voice. You don't have to wait for somebody else to give you permission to make art, also to make art that people will see. When I started, almost all of the crew were men. The women were wardrobe, hair and makeup. And the film that I recently directed, we had an almost all-female crew. And I've noticed it in the last couple of years, there's much more diversity across the board, which is, I think, a really beautiful thing to see. And as a result, for me, a set feels much safer and collaborative.
You said that directing gave you a kind of creative high. I really like that.
The epiphany that I had as a director was like, oh, this is what it's about. It's about facilitating the talent of everyone around you. And that was such a thrill. My dream is to found a production company and support directors, writers whose work I think is interesting and who might not get the opportunity. And something I would love to do, being on Broadway.
I can see you there.
I shouldn't have said anything.
Which piece do we want to be in?
What are we watching next season?
What are we watching when we're going and seeing you on Broadway? Thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate it. I know you're very busy. Lucky me to know you. You're a fantastic actress. I have worked with you, seen you on set, and you are just so, your energy is really beautiful on set, I have to say.
Oh, that's sweet. Thank you.
Professional, the level of commitment, everything is just, I learned a lot just from watching you work. And I know that you write, and I think you've been writing for a long time. So you're
been a few years.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And finally turned director, and you've been producing. So that's amazing.
Yeah, wearing a few hats.
Yeah. Now you're wearing one now too, which is gorgeous.
I am. I live in a hat, or as we call these in Canada, toques. Toques.
Yeah, toques. Nice. Well, we're a podcast where the way we started, Larry and I, we were like, are we ready for this? And we're like, no, let's just start before we're ready. And that was really our first episode. It was really this, let's just start before we're ready. And I think that's the first question I want to ask you is, when in your life did you start in your career? And it's been a longer one. When did you start before you were ready? Or has it been multiple occasions? I mean,
I'm always starting before I'm ready.
I love it. Tell more.
I feel like
tell us more.
I'm always like, I could use just one more day. Just give me one more day. It's just the nervousness, I think, that comes with when you're about to take a risk or like step out and do something vulnerable.
Yeah.
You want to kind of control it in some capacity. And I think that starting before you're ready, actually, there's some power to that, because you don't have time to plan everything and control everything, and some magic can kind of happen in that space. It's almost even a little bit like beginner's luck. I think when you know too much, you can kind of get in your own way. And there's something really exciting about just taking that risk and stepping into the unknown. And I think that's where like the magic happens. I think that's where the real creativity happens, certainly from like an acting standpoint, right? When you kind of surrender to the unknown and hop on that ride, it's the most thrilling part of, at least that's been the most thrilling part of my experience as an actor, are those moments where I let go of the reins. I'm terrified, but I do it anyway. And for the 5 minutes that you're acting, or however long, when you're in the pocket like that, it's like the ride of your life, and like time just sort of slows down, and you commune with the material and with your fellow actor. And honestly, I think it's like the best drug out there. I really do. So
True.
yeah.
So true.
So in a lot of ways, I do feel like, yeah, just even from the inception of my career, which was when I was 11, I had I was inclined to being a performer. I was a ballet dancer. I certainly, whenever an assignment was sent my way in class, and I had the option of how I wanted to present the assignment, I would almost always turn it into a play or film a little movie or something. So there was definitely an inclination in that sort of creative direction, but it was really my grade six teacher who saw that potential more clearly and encouraged me to audition for a kids TV series that was casting in my hometown. And I, the day of it, didn't want to go. I got scared and I really didn't want to go. And my mom was like, you know what else are we doing today? Let's just go. Let's just
Oh.
see what happens. It's good to try different things. And she took me to this open call, which wasn't even an acting exercise or anything like that. It was just this casting director who has become like a very prominent casting director in Canada named Jackie Lind, interviewing kids. She'd take you into this room for 5 minutes and ask you some questions. And the question that I remember her asking me was, if you could go on a date with anyone, who would it be and where would you go?
Wait a
And
second. Wait. I'm so sorry. You're 11?
I was
And
11. I was 11.
An interesting question to ask.
That's
Very
an
interesting
question
question.
to ask an 11-year-old.
Isn't it?
What?
Who did
Very
you
interesting
choose?
question.
Oh my God.
I
Nice.
said Leonardo DiCaprio, and we would go to McDonald's.
Of course.
And I guess she was like, "This kid's got something," and she sent me to the next level. I don't mean it is such a bizarre question in
That
hindsight
is a bizarre
to
question for
to
11-year-old.
ask a kid. Yeah, to ask a kid.
So true.
I don't really know what the point of that was. Because like none of the questions, I mean, it's been so long. I don't remember what the other questions were. Maybe there was something that led to her asking me that specifically. I don't remember, but that question sticks out because I remember my answer.
Wow.
Um, but yeah, and then it was like I went through the process of that and then joined this repertory company of kids.
Mm.
And it was a really cool experience because it was kind of like a little boot camp for all, because pretty much everyone there, with the exception of maybe one or two kids, had never been on a film set before.
Mm.
So they did this 2 week acting intensive where they not only played acting games, improv games, gave us scenes to work on, they also taught us the ropes of what it would be like to be on set, hitting your mark, the terminology. So you weren't just stepping into this world and being lost. And so it was this wonderful gift and kind of little summer camp for us kids. And the show itself was a series of short stories written by kids that then screenwriters turned into little mini like vignettes kind of thing. And so every episode, it was also a really, I think, positive experience for kids starting in the industry because in one episode, maybe you'd be a background performer.
Mm.
In another episode, you'd get a chance to maybe audition for one of the leads. Maybe you'd get to play a lead in one of the episodes. Maybe you'd get to be a supporting or a principal character.
Mm.
So there was no like hierarchy or anything like that. We all were sort of collaborating on this thing together. And I think as far as, this industry, I think can be incredibly unhealthy and certainly for kids. So it was a very wholesome beginning.
Sounds
All
nice.
things considered.
Beautiful.
At least for me, it was really wholesome and more just like a summer camp than anything else. Yeah. So that's kind of how I got my start. And the bug bit me immediately. That said, before every job, I always am like, what am I doing? Why did I agree to do this? This is such a stupid idea, especially if it's theater, because I love theater and I love the experience of being on stage, but it is the scariest because there's no hiding. In a way, you can hide behind a good editor. You can, hide behind several takes on a set, but
Exactly.
you
Yeah.
can't hide on stage. So it's the ultimate act of vulnerability. And every time before a show, I'm like, I feel sick to my stomach. I'm like, why did I do this? No, don't make me go out there. And then you step out into the light, and it's so much fun.
Mm.
Mm.
I think that's the constant battle. At least that's been for how it's been for me as an actor. This sort of, yeah, I don't want to do it, but there's something greater in me that compels me to do it.
Mm. It's beautiful. And you've been doing this for almost 30 years, right?
Yeah,
So
I'm 40 and I started when I was 11. So yeah, it's been a minute.
crazy.
It's been a
I have
minute.
multiple questions for you.
Yeah.
And the first thing that I want to ask you is mm, throughout those years, have your relationship with the craft, has it changed in any way?
Mm.
Did you gain confidence? Is it,
Mhm.
how are you still there? Because that's the question we ask all the creatives because it's, a difficult industry to navigate. I think
Mhm.
that courage that, it takes to stay and to keep persevering, keep winning this battle is a big one.
Yeah. I mean, and I've definitely had moments of doubt along the way where I've questioned staying on this path. Just living in that constant uncertainty can be tiring. And when I was younger, it was easier to not know when the next job was going to come, when the next check was going to come. I didn't have the same level of expense that I have now as an adult. Um, and I have to take care of myself. So sometimes you have to, maybe agree to be a part of something that isn't the most fulfilling, but you need to make ends meet. And so it's definitely been a journey of stamina and trying to fall in love with it in different ways as you go. And like I said, there's definitely been some times where I have fallen out of love with it. Not the acting, never the actual acting,
Mm.
but the politics of the industry itself. Um, and it has changed a lot from when I started. Like I came up in a time where you had to go into the room to audition. Now it's all self tapes. And even
Mhm.
though I was such a nervous auditioner and I've like definitely, blown some opportunities because my nerves got the best of me, I I miss the excitement of going in and not knowing how it was going to go, and also the human connection.
Mm.
Um, because now it's like we get to do these tapes, which is good in that you get more control over it. You can make sure that you're putting your best foot forward, but there's also no guarantee that they're seeing it. You go
Mm.
into that room and you're face to face with the casting director or the director or whoever. Even if you're not right for the part, you stand a chance of what they call winning the room, which
Yeah.
Mhm.
means them really liking you as a person and going, oh, she's great, just not right for this, but I'm going to keep her in mind for some other stuff. And of course, the streaming of it all has just changed the what's the word? Not like the livability of this art form, but you used to be able to make a living off of doing a season of a show. Now that's almost impossible because it's a 6 episode order rather than a 21 episode order where you also get residuals.
Mm.
Um, and so it's harder for crew as well, like shorter seasons. These streamers are throwing money around to so many projects. Um, and some of the powers that be are just also greedy. So it's become much more difficult to make a living. And the irony is there's never been more content, but there's
Mm.
also I've never seen so many of my friends struggling to make ends meet as an actor.
And I mean,
So
you're in
this
you're in bigger
sucks.
series. Like you are not, I mean, you've done a lot of great work.
I've been really lucky to be on, yeah, some great shows, and to sometimes be the leader, to have like a really great arc. And um, those experiences, I'm so thankful for them. They gave me just a lot of experience that was consistent. I think when you're on a show for a long time, you get to know the characters so well, and it kind of, that set environment becomes like your second home, and it gives you permission in a way to for one, have maybe more of a voice and to stand up for yourself and what you believe in, as far as, the character and the character's motivations, or saying like, hey, you know what, I don't think this scene makes sense. Whereas when you're a day player on something or a guest star, you can't really come in swinging those kinds of opinions around. Uh, and yeah, it's just really fun to be able to live in something for that amount of time. And nowadays everything is so fast, and the schedules are just like so quick. So for me, what has shifted in this sort of later part of my career is an interest in things outside of just acting, such as writing, such as directing. I think the one thing that is really exciting about this moment, and one of the benefits of social media, is it's shown people that they can take matters into their own hands. If you have a creative voice, you don't have to wait for somebody else to give you permission to make art, and also to make art that people will see. So yeah, I mean, my dream is to own a production company, to found a production company, and support directors, writers, whose work I think is interesting, and who might not get the opportunity, because it is such a business as much as it is an art form. In some ways, maybe it's even more a business.
Yeah. You've also shared that, not only that you watched this new phenomenon of multi-hyphenate creatives evolve for recent years, but also that there are more female directors, crew members, DOPs, in all capacities. There are more women involved on different sets and filmmaking processes in general. So what gave it to you personally? What do you think this shift changed in the industry? How do you feel this?
I mean, well, first, just to speak on the shift that I've noticed on sets. Like when I started, almost all of the crew were men. The women were wardrobe, hair and makeup. You didn't see camera operators who were women. At least I didn't, for quite a long time in my career. And the film that I recently directed, we had an almost all female crew. Like, and I don't even, it wasn't necessarily intentional. It's just that those were the best people for those jobs. And I've noticed it on jobs that I've been on in the last couple of years. There's much more diversity across the board, which is, I think, a really beautiful thing to see. And as a result, for me, a set feels much safer and collaborative, and yeah, inclusive, which I think was something that was missing for a really long time. And then you asked me, sorry, Eva, did you have a?
No, I'm just wondering, because I really want to dive into that, because when you say safer, I mean, there's more behind that.
Oh yeah. I mean, yes. I, have been put in a position a few times, and granted, this was prior to Me Too, where I was pressured on a set to do something that I was maybe too young to know better, or to stand up for myself. One was, there wasn't going to be any actual nudity on this one job, but they threw that scene on. It was a love scene, and they threw it on me that day. Now they wouldn't ever do something like that. They would there would be an intimacy coordinator, there'd be conversations around it. They wouldn't just be like, oh, hey, actually after lunch, we're doing that scene. We've pulled it up to today. And then on that set, during that, I had like some stuff to cover myself, but then the director, I was in silhouette, so you couldn't see actual, body parts, but the director didn't like that you could see the indentations of the thong, the nude thong I was wearing. And so on an all-male set, I was asked to take all of that off. And and it wasn't a set where I felt unsafe per se, but just the parameters around that are, like, and I've grown up in the, team player mentality. Like, don't be the, squeaky wheel. Like, just make sure, be a real team player. Don't hold it back. And I look back on those things and I'm like, I was a young girl. I was really young. And this is set with all men crew. There was no women. And I was in another scenario where I was hired to do a couple episodes of something, and there was a love scene in the script, but there was no mention of nudity. No mention of it in the deal, even, right? Like, you have to agree to those terms, etc.
Exactly.
When you're making the deal, and there was no mention of this. I flew somewhere to shoot this show, and when I landed, the driver was like, oh, the director wants to meet you in the morning to just talk about some of the scenes and stuff. And I was like, oh, okay. So I met this director for breakfast, and the first part of the conversation is just like, nice getting to know each other. And then he brings up the love scene, and he's like, I hate this thing. You see it in American cinema all the time where the women are like holding the sheet above their chest and they're hiding it and whatnot. So like, I just wanted to make sure that if we see anything, like if we see anything, like, that you're okay with it. And I was like, wait, what do you mean? He's like, like, I just don't want it to look like you're trying to hide and cover yourself. So if during the intimacy, we see a little bit, it'll be very tasteful. It'll be very subtle. It won't be anything direct. I mean, look, if it was about your breasts, I would have hired another actress. Yeah, that's what he said to me. And I was like, look, they're tiny, but they are mighty, sir.
They're mighty. What the?
They're tiny, but they are mighty. But like, and then,
oh my God.
Yeah. And then on the day, I was actively like misled, not just by him, but by the female makeup artist who I asked, because they had this shot where it was like, clearly you're seeing my breasts. And I was like, I asked the director, when I sit up into frame, are you framed out of that? And he was like, oh, yeah. We don't see it. And I was like, I can kind of feel like where the camera's pointing, like, you can see this. So then I asked like the makeup artist or the hair gal, and she was like, oh, no, it's framed above when you sit. Yeah, we don't see it. Girl. Cut to, I discovered.
What did they count on that? Like, are you not gonna see the final movie, or would it be too late to say something?
I maybe too late. I don't know. So it aired, and sure enough, it was exactly what I was worried. You sat up straight into camera, and that this was all prior to the Me Too movement and whatnot. And in hindsight, if I go back in time, like, I definitely would have dealt with that situation differently. I would have been like, show me the frame, show me the, I personally don't have a problem with nudity, but it was the way in which it was kind of coerced out of me that feels icky. And so things have shifted a lot. And now, intimacy coordinators are part of the conversation. Things like, do you want to see the monitor? What are you comfortable with? You write out your boundaries. Like, it's just become a much healthier environment. At least that's been my experience. And having more women around, because even then, like on this film set, it was almost all men. That's why I asked the woman. And so it was really, maybe she didn't want to get in trouble. I don't I don't know.
Yeah.
Sorry, don't mind me. I'm like choking on a muffin I ate like
That's
40
okay.
minutes ago.
I hope it was a good muffin. You know
Mm.
what? First of all, I'm going to say shame on that director. Shame on him. And I hope he hears this and he needs to feel it. Shame on you.
Mhm.
Because this was your decision to make, which means just don't hide it. Don't lie to me.
Mhm. Yes,
That's the
exactly.
thing. Don't lie. Just tell me,
Yeah,
and then you can make the decision. As you say, if it's an honest and safe environment, it's a totally different thing.
totally.
And I was just
Totally.
filming the other day, and we had nudity too. And I'm in the director. It was more men than women there, but it was amazing because he just created this safe space and just said, "Everyone leave set. That does if you don't have to be here, go."
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of it. And then I, as an actress, can say yes or no to that. Am I okay with
Yeah.
this? Do I want this or not? So I
Yeah,
think that is
exactly.
beautiful. What would you tell a young actor about? Because this is here we're talking about safety on set. You've been in this for a long time, but I do think this. You talked about it before when we met that this can happen also with in other situations, like with coaches and teachers.
Mhm.
What would you tell a young
Yeah.
actor, upcoming actor, or even don't have to be young. You're just entering this field. You wanna, educate yourself more. You trust then, somebody says they're a coach and they've done it forever. Like
Mhm.
what would you
I mean, listen to your gut, because
mm,
for me, there was almost always in these situations an instinct that I then did not listen to.
Mm.
Um, I think training is important and the right teacher is
mm,
invaluable. I think where things get tricky is when you give everything over to one person and you put all your eggs in one basket. I think the better thing to do as an actor is to explore a variety of teachings and a variety of teachers. Um,
mm,
because what I've observed and had in my own experience is a number of acting teachers, and this isn't all of them, but um, can create sort of an addictive environment where you feel like you have to rely on them to do your work. I certainly studied with somebody who literally would say things like, "I am the reason that you are the actor that you are, and I get worried when you're not in here. I worry about you." Um,
mm,
and they can become a crutch, and I think in some cases can even hinder your creativity. Some people, are completely against studying, and I get why, because I think sometimes some of these teachers can really get in the way of your instincts and your
Mm.
natural talent. But I also think it can be a really good thing if you find the right person to have a place to go that is safe that you can exercise in.
yes, yeah.
Um, and so to be discerning as best you can, if you get any vibe of guru like energy where students are like really capitulating to the teacher, run,
Hmm.
run.
Or everyone has to go outside and clap because that human being is entering the space. I have had that. Yeah.
Wow.
What? Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I've had pretty close to that.
This is like
That's
a red carpet or something like that.
It's yeah, that should be really, but artists are so vulnerable and they have just this, particularly actors, they have this thing of just they so want to be seen or get the
Mhm.
chance to just
Mm.
act. Oy.
Yeah, I think a lot of people too that are in acting are searching for something, and
Mm,
you could find a person. A lot of the time, they end up being snake oil, salesman who peddles the idea that they have the answer. And that's the thing. This craft is elusive. There is no one size fits all method. It is so dependent on who you are as a person. There's a number of ways in, whether that's
Mm.
using your imagination, whether that's using something personal, whether that's improv. Um, so I think any teacher who's saying that they have it figured out and that their way is the only way, that is also a huge flag.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Honestly, ideally, if you can find a peer space, I think that can sometimes be a better approach, something where there isn't really one person leading the whole thing, where it's sort of a group collective. But that takes time usually to find those people. If you're starting out, it can be a little tricky. And I don't even know how people start in the industry now because it's changed so much. Apart from, you know, going through the route of going to theater school or something like that. But the usual things of like going to an audition and you meet people in the waiting room, like that just doesn't really happen anymore. So
True.
I guess the other important part of audition is that you get the feedback, right? So you can adjust your performance and try different things. It's very valuable to kind of get the feeling of the room.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. The energy. And to know if you're on the right track or not. Like when you're self-taping, you're kind of, they give notes and everything. A lot of the time, casting will give more specific notes. But if you were in the room, a tiny redirect can completely change the course of your performance and give you a better chance maybe at getting the part versus them seeing, you know, what you were sort of guessing at in your home. There's positives for both for sure. Like trust me, sometimes I'm like, oh, thank God I get to just tape this because I would be terrified to go and do this one in the room. So there's pluses for sure of both, but it's like I think splitting the difference would be a nice way forward. At least do callbacks in person. You know, if you can be there in person, do the callbacks in person. Because, well, this is the other thing I have a bit of a gripe of, and so many of my friends do this, and it's a way to make ends meet. But paying for self tapes to like have to go somewhere and pay somebody to tape you, like there's a lot of people that run self taping facilities and stuff now because everyone's taping. Everyone's got to tape at home. They're not going into casting offices anymore, and there's not. At least I don't know. Maybe there is many other jobs in the world where you have to pay to be interviewed.
No. Oh my God. And I'm going to say, you guys, don't do that. No, you just need your iPhone. I'm not kidding. Please, no.
I try my best not to, but like sometimes you're in a bind, you're in like a new city and you don't have a person who can Zoom with you and reading over Zoom is tricky. So you want to, like I get it. And I've got, like I said, I've got friends who, it's their side hustle is like taping people and it's like a good little business and everything. But I'm just I just think it's wrong to have to pay for what is essentially an interview. Like that's what an audition is. You're interviewing to play that part, right?
Yeah.
Anyway.
No, but how do you, wow, please, let's talk about this because this is not good. It's a different thing to have, a coach. Like if you're working with someone on your audition, like I do that all the time.
Yes.
And I coach others. I definitely, like, I just know that's good. Like to go through it because, you can't be observing yourself while you're acting, or you don't want to do that maybe. But to pay just to be on film, like, no, please take your phone, really have a ring light, and that's the setup you need. Like have a clear background, and that's the setup. It's really just please for all the actors that if you're out there, like look into that. Rather have, I'm sorry, I don't want to take your friend's job there, but
no, I know. I don't either.
I don't want to do that. But
I don't hold it against them. I don't hold it against them.
No, of course not. But rather have them if they're coaching and something, yeah, totally different. That's a different thing.
Yeah.
But not just to film it. Like that doesn't sound good. No.
Yeah, no, I agree. I totally agree. I think it's worth investing in a good light, get a good light, get a good tripod and have a few people that you form relationships with to help each other. I've got friends. It's like I tape them, they tape me.
Exactly.
We help each other out. And it's complicated now, especially everyone's everywhere. It used to be like, usually I'm in LA and I have a big community there, but so many people have left because you don't need to live there anymore.
Right.
So when I go to tape there, it can be a little complicated of like, okay, going through the Rolodex. But this is where honestly my gripe with all of it is with, I mean, I kind of want to be careful what I say, but I think casting gets away with a lot because of this new system and setup. They save a lot of money not having to rent a space to have actors come in to audition. They also can see a lot more people. Before it used to
Mm,
be 50 actors, maybe.
mm,
You'd see 50 for a role. Now they can see 500
mm,
because of the
Yeah.
tapes. And actors are doing a lot of the work that used to be castings work, finding a reader, finding a space to taping, editing your tape, uploading your tape.
it takes time.
Yeah.
It's
That's
few
Well, they
hours.
just
yeah,
outsource this now to the
Yeah.
yeah,
actors who are
Yeah.
vulnerable. What a wonderful way to deal with this. And may I tell the
yeah.
story because we talked with Eva. You did the voiceover job, right?
Yeah.
And they asked you if you can, do it on a certain software. The
Well,
one that you can't, download for free. You have to have a subscription, and they only accept the tapes that are done in this software in this particular kind of format, which is ridiculous because it was like over $100 or something like that for someone who's looking for a job. It's like, I don't know, not a nice thing to do, to say the least, but
mhm.
So Ava said
Mhm.
no. I didn't do
exactly.
Good.
it.
You did it good.
I was
Exactly.
like, this doesn't make any sense. I talked to Valeria about it and I said, hey, what do you think? And then we were looking at it and I was like, no, I'm not going to. This doesn't make no sense. Me paying over $100 just to do, a self or, a recording. I was like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
oh, no. Mm-mm.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
just said
It's
no.
it adds up. It does. It really like adds up over time. I mean, don't even get me started on Actors Access. You guys probably don't have that
Oh,
over
we
there.
have a lot of
You do
this. Oh,
do is
I have platforms that I'm on and I'm paying. They're less now, but I think at least five.
Mm.
five for like every time you upload something, or
No, so that these are like that you want to like you're paying for IMDb,
oh, you're
you're
paying for five.
paying for
Oh, I
you
see. I
know
see. I
what
see.
I mean.
Okay.
There are all these platforms that you to be up there, you have to be and you're paying for it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, everyone's they didn't used to only use this one thing, but Actors Access here, it's kind of like the main casting source. It's where all the breakdowns for all the characters go on to, and agents can directly submit into the thing. And this, first of all, the software of this thing is like so archaic.
Mm,
Mm.
Like they haven't updated it since like the 80s. And you pay an annual fee of like $68.
mm,
But if you want to upload any material, it's $20 a minute. So if you want to upload a 5 minute demo, that's like what, like $100 or just over $100? It and if you want to say in a year you've got a new demo, you can't just replace the old demo. You have to upload an entirely new one and pay an extra, however long the video is, $120 or whatever. It's a racket.
Wow.
It's a racket, but one that for whatever reason everyone uses. I don't know.
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you guys, at least you should make a user-friendly interface. Because I
Yes.
can
I think
say the same for IMDb. Like when I submitted my short film, it was crazy. It was so like the way how it's organized. It was first of all very strange, archaic, as you said. That's the word that I use. Very lucrative. It's not straightforward at all. It kind of misleads you every step of the way, and it
mm,
takes probably a couple days just to figure out what they want, and then to upload everything in the right order, in the right way. They also kind of do this back
Mm.
and forth. So you submit something, they don't like it, or they don't, they more evidence or something.
yeah, they reject it and then you
It's
have to
it's
yeah.
it's so unnecessary as well, I feel. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyhow,
Anywho,
That's our gripe.
anyhow.
That's our
let's
gripe.
go with your journey. Back to your journey. You said that directing gave you a kind of creative high. I really
Mhm.
like that because,
Mhm.
yeah, you're gonna tell us yourself that as an actor, probably you don't get that much of an opportunity to kind of co-create.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, what did having that level of authorship awaken in you?
I mean, a lot more possibility for sure. And I was like, you know, my path is what my path is, but I wish I would have tapped into this a lot sooner in life. But it, you know, it came to me in the moment in the way that it came. Um, but I think for me, what it gave me was a creative ownership, um, and also something else that I had not experienced before was facilitating the talent of others, which I think is really the epiphany that I had as a director was like, oh, this is what it's about. It's about facilitating the talent of everyone around you. Like that's really your job as the orchestrator, the director of this thing. And that was such a thrill to get to see actors or the set designer or the makeup artist or the wardrobe person come with their ideas and elevate this thing that I had written or this idea that I had. And there was something really, because I got the thing that's so beautiful about acting specifically or about filmmaking outside of some other vocations, such as, you know, writing or painting. I'm a painter, and it's such a solitary experience versus a film set is this massive collaboration. And there is something about being in community like that and creating something collectively together and seeing other people take your idea and make it better is, I think, the thrill of the whole experience. And so that's what I learned about, at least what directing felt like for me, was like a chance to really champion other people and to give them an opportunity to shine. And I found that to be a really gratifying experience.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I just really enjoyed it, and I enjoyed all of the things that I learned in the process, like the pre-production, the actual production itself, and we're in post right now. Just hoping to lock our cut in the next couple weeks before the holidays. And there's just so much to this side of things that I didn't know, and it's taught me a lot as an actor as well. It's taught me some very practical things, like as actors, you get caught up in, why haven't I heard back from that thing? And, you know, gosh, they're taking a long time giving me an answer about this job that I'm pinned for. Now that I've been on the other side of it, I realize like, oh, that's because they're troubleshooting 100 other things. It has nothing to do with you. Or why I maybe chose one actor over another had nothing to do with how wonderful that other actor was for that part. And there was something a little more right for that character that other person embodied. It has nothing to do with the other person not being amazing. So I learned a lot about that side of things, and about like too when you're creating a cast and an ensemble, which this short film very much is an ensemble. You need all of these different instruments, you know, a variety of instruments to really make the like piece sing. So you're hitting like all these different notes. So that's also part of the casting process as well. We can't cast that person because they're kind of maybe look like that other person, and we need to, you know, have these different, like I said, these different notes being played. So I learned a lot about that. And then I also learned how friggin' hard it is to get anything made. And it's a miracle that anything ever gets accomplished. It's like, I am in awe of people that manage to get like big productions done. And, you know, like how obviously having more money is helpful, right?
Yeah.
I think that helps a lot.
It didn't hurt.
Independent film is, you know, you're asking for a lot of favors and people doing things on the side of their actual job. But it also is an opportunity, I think, for people to maybe do things that they wouldn't get to do in the like more mainstream film and television. So it does offer that. But yeah, it's like pushing a boulder uphill. So many things go wrong. You lose your financing, somebody drops out, timing doesn't work anymore, you lose the location, you know, we had a problem with focus on one of our cameras in a particular scene, and you're in the edit and you're trying to piece this together and make this thing work without losing the essence of what you were trying to create, and it can be devastating too. You're like,
That
oh my
hurts.
God, or this thing that I thought was going to work, I was so certain was going to work, it actually didn't work. It's better if it's like this. I think editors are the real magicians of what we do, and they don't get enough like credit. It's miraculous what they can pull off. Our editor is amazing. So yeah, I got like a taste of the creative power that is being a director, and it's pretty great. Highly recommend doing it.
Like I liked it. But
Yeah.
what made you you are so creative, as I said in the beginning, you really are. You have been writing for several years. What gave you this boost, this confidence boost to really finally take the step and direct? I mean, this is a material that it's from your own life, like your own experience, right? But what was it? Like, because I'm sure you've had a lot of times people going like, oh, you should do this. Oh, you should do
Yeah.
that, right? What was it this time around that made you go like, I'm doing it?
I think it was a combination of a few things. I think one was that the right story came along and that I saw it clearly. I saw quite clearly how to tell this story. And because it was so personal, I felt protective of it. So I wanted to make sure that I was sort of the one like doula-ing it into existence. I think also maturity. My personal journey, I think, has been just my out in general. This is even outside of acting, is growing more comfortable standing in my own power and in my own voice and in my own opinion. And I think I've cared a lot or been worried always about people not liking me, or the thing that I think is cool not really being received from others. So self-doubt, a little bit of like, growth that needed to happen. And then some pretty difficult life stuff that happened to me. I lost both my parents within a very short amount of time. I lost my dad in April of 2023, and then my mom October 2024.
I'm sorry.
And it was, thank you. And it was after losing my dad was the thing that kind of made me realize how fast time goes, and you think you've got all of this time, and you don't. And this whole thing is really just a game to, sit on the sidelines of something that you could be actively participating in. I mean, at one point, we're all going to be dead. So what does it matter? Like, it's really this kind of jarring existential thing that happened that made me go, fuck it. I don't know if I'm allowed to swear on this.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes,
we're gonna say it
absolutely.
too. We're gonna say it too. I'm so glad you say fuck it.
Fuck it. Yeah, I was like, what am I waiting for? Why do I give a shit? Why? Like, we're all gonna die.
Oh yeah.
So what does it matter what people think? And like, what are you waiting for? Go for it. So I started to write this, and then while we were in the process of trying to raise money and get funding, my mom got really sick. And so I was dealing with that. And it also weirdly connected a little bit to what the piece was about. So it was just a lot of interesting life stuff overlapping. And I think losing them has been the hardest thing I've had to endure, but it's also been the thing that has ushered me into adulthood in a way. Like, I feel like I was a kid prior to losing them. And now that I don't have parents, I have to parent myself. And there's something about that I think has made me less afraid to step up, or to step out into, maybe not step up, but like step out or step into the role that I see for myself or would like to see for myself.
Thank you for
So
sharing
that's
that.
part of
Thank
it
you.
too.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
beautiful.
And they are, without them, like, just to give a shout out to my parents, like they have always championed me. I've been a very fortunate person in that sense. Like I never had to push against parents who didn't like the path that I was on or who wanted something different for me. And they are absolutely instrumental in me getting to that place of writing and directing my own thing. I would not have stepped into that without years of them encouraging me. So, yeah.
Yeah, the support really does matter.
We're all a little dry.
Just a little bit emotional here.
Yeah, it's just a number of like personal things that, in a way, like when people speak about their own experience, and it happens all the time, it kind of highlights the parts of your journey and resonates with you and makes you kind of think certain thoughts. Yeah, so it's definitely resonated with me on that level. Thank you for sharing.
I'm glad. Yeah, it's unfortunate that it like often takes loss to like put things in perspective, or to have that sort of existential crisis. And it would be really nice to tap into that energy without having to experience that level of like difficulty.
Yeah.
But it certainly, has changed me in some ways, maybe not for the better, but I think in a lot of ways for the better, having gone through that. So it's definitely given me like a deeper affinity for life and for trying to make the kind of life for myself that I want.
What I want to ask you is what's still, you've obviously explored a lot of things creatively throughout the whole journey. Is there something that still kind of scares you? But in a good way, that's something that excites you that you want to try out before you're ready.
I mean, I definitely would have said directing, and I can't say that anymore because I've done that.
Because she's done that, you guys.
I'm trying to think, but like on a small, thank you. But that was like on a small level. Like I do feel like there's so much further to go there in that direction, and like that's just the beginning. So I'm trying to think. Like, I mean, I think I mentioned owning a production company and giving other artists a platform. And that is scary and intimidating for sure. Like a lot falls on your shoulders if things don't work. And there's a lot of pressure that comes with that kind of thing. So I'm trying to think what else could be. I think being on Broadway. That would be something that it's always like there and something I would love to do someday, but the thought absolutely scares the crap out of me. But yeah. Ooh, it's even thinking about it right now. Yeah.
I can see you there. Let's manifest together. Like, let's go and manifest, okay? First of all, production company. You're talking about what kind of projects would you like put out there? What would you script?
I'm such a fan of like anything that Neon is doing or A24. So these like really narrative driven pieces that aren't. I personally am so not a Marvel fan. That whole world, like I get it, it's got a place, and some of those movies are entertaining. But last night we went to see Hamnet. I don't know if you've seen that film.
No, I haven't. And
it is so beautiful. Like,
I have to see
it is so beautiful. I was trying not to ugly cry in the theater. I was like, hey, why is nobody else? Like, my boyfriend was also crying. We both were like, like trying really hard not to just like burst into tears. Because it was so stunning. And when you see, I think like sorry, my brain's going in like 20 directions because now I'm thinking about AI and all of the concern that we all have about AI and it replacing actors and it replacing artists. And as much as I think that stuff is scary, part of me isn't worried. And maybe that's just idiocy. I don't know. But I think that people at the end of the day crave human connection. Most
Yes,
people crave
we
human
need it.
connection.
Yeah.
They go to the cinema to see themselves reflected back to them on the
Yes.
screen, or to forget about their life, or to see their life represented, to feel
Mhm.
less alone. And
Yeah.
to me, AI just can't capture that
Mm.
essence of what it means to be human and to feel. And
Mhm.
I think that there will be a pushback to all of that, where there will be more, auteur driven cinema, writers, directors, people creating their own stories, um, uh, connecting each other through this medium. And so that's the kind of storytelling that I would really like to be a part of.
I love that.
Um, and I also, though, aside from that, I love horror movies.
Yeah.
I love horror movies. But like, I mean, I love all horror movies, but I really love the resurgence it's had in the last, 10
Mm.
years, with like Ari Aster and some of these directors coming in and making horror films that are also, they have like really profound subtext and metaphor, and they're beautiful to look at.
Mm.
Uh, I kind of love that world of
Did you
storytelling.
like
Mm.
Nosferatu, the new one?
I I did like it. I loved the cinematography of
Mm-hmm.
it. I thought it was stunning.
Mm.
I love Eggers' stuff, period. Like The Witch, I think, is a masterpiece. Um, I wouldn't say that that was one of my favorite films by him,
Mm.
though. Yeah. I did really like, though, didn't he do, am I confusing him with somebody else? Eddington? Did he do Eddington, or was that somebody else? Do you know that film Eddington?
Mm.
I don't know it.
I saw it on a plane on my way back here, and part of me thinks it was him. Was that? No, that wouldn't be Eggers. That's not Eggers. Eggers
I don't
Energy.
know.
He did The Lighthouse,
The
which
Lighthouse he
The
did, which
Lighthouse,
was
yes.
really, yeah.
amazing, and The Northman.
And the
Who did
Northman before, which I
Eddington?
saw, yeah. But
Yeah, it
Eddington, I'm
wasn't.
not
He
sure.
didn't. No, he didn't do Eddington. I don't know why
Mm.
I thought
Mm.
that, but it was
I'm
somebody.
personally scared of horror movies. I mean, I watch only like the ones that are
It was Ari
masterpieces.
Aster. It was Ari
Yeah,
Aster.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, did Eddington.
yeah.
Yeah, sorry, you're not a fan
Yeah,
of
I'm.
horror.
I don't know. I'm just like have very active imagination, so for me it's really hard to sit for them. But I did watch Nosferatu. The other one that I kind of forced myself to watch was the one by what it's called, by Luca Guadagnino. I was about the dancers. It's
Oh yeah, it's
fully shot with Dakota
Suspiria. Suspiria.
Suspiria. Yeah. Oh my god.
Mm,
I couldn't
But
go there.
it did things to my mind, so I'm very
Mm.
I'm very
yeah,
vulnerable towards that type of thing.
Yeah.
I am as well, and yet I think I'm like a little bit of a masochist. Like I love just to like put my body through an uncomfortable amount of stress. I don't know. Um, but yeah, also very active imagination. But I
Mm.
think like I'm my mother's daughter in that sense. Like my mom had such a penchant for horror movies, and like some like
Mm.
bad horror movies, which I was like, I'd come home for Christmas and she'd be like, "Can we watch this thing?" And it would be some like obscure, not great horror movie, but we would enjoy that experience
Mm.
together, and even like laughing at how like silly it is and stuff. So part of it, I think, is like my connection to her
Mm.
and her
Okay,
deep
I
love for
wanna I
that.
wanna say thank you for your this beautiful time with you. It has been a pleasure, and allowing
Yes.
ourselves also to go into the not always the most best, I don't know how to say that, the ugliness of this industry. Let's just be
Mhm.
honest.
Mhm.
And just learning from you is beautiful, and your stamina is amazing. I mean, starting at 11, that's crazy, and you're still here.
Yeah.
I love that you're stepping into your power fully, that you're just going like, this is what I'm doing, this is what I can do. Where is it best to reach out to you? Do you know now where the film will be shown, or how that is, or are you in, do you know that?
We don't know yet. I mean, I
Okay.
think the goal is to have it ready for early submission to, some to
Mhm.
TIFF, that
Mm,
because I think that's one of the first ones. Ideally, we're hoping to get into an elite festival. That's obviously like,
mm, mm.
would be ideal, but it's highly, highly competitive. So I don't know yet. We're still trying to lock the cut. And then after Christmas, we'll get into the, sound design and the color correcting and all of that stuff, put the final touches on it. So we're still a ways away, but my Instagram, you can follow it on there. So I've got my personal Instagram, which is just my name, Elyse Levesque. And I think in my bio, there is a link to the short film, which is called Hot Chocolate. And on that page, that's where we have more information about the short film, what it's about, who's involved. And when the time comes, hopefully some exciting news about where it might be shown.
Yay. And we will have this in the show notes, you guys, so you can go there and click on it. So Elyse will provide us with that we have all those links and we can put it in there. And then, as I said, thank you so much. And the last thing I'm going to ask you is Broadway, because I want to see you there. I'm looking forward to it. And
I shouldn't have said anything.
I love it. I love it. Which piece do we want to be in?
Oh my God.
What are we watching next season?
What are we watching when we're going and seeing you on Broadway? Guys, just saying it. It's the way it is. We just manifest it into the world.
I do love some Tennessee Williams. I do love some Cat on a Hot Tin Roof. Streetcar Named Desire.
Love that one.
There's so many plays, and of course right now in this moment I'm like blanking on which some of my favorite ones have been, and some of my favorite plays have been recently done too. Maybe there's like a new one, and it's like a period piece, and it's also a ghost story. It's a ghost story period piece on Broadway. So I don't know what that play is, but it's maybe it has yet to come into existence.
It's out there.
Someone is writing it already.
Exactly. Now they see this and they're like, I have it. Thank you. This has been amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you both.